Lowe's is my new go-to destination for discovering the newest Craftsman products, including mechanics, tool sets, storage, and more in-store and online, like the 120-tooth ratchet. It has a 3-degree arc swing. It lets you loosen or tighten bolts with less movement in those hard-to-reach spots. Plus, comes in a gunmetal chrome finish. It's not only sharp-looking, it makes corrosion-resistant cool. Shop the new home of Craftsman today at Lowes.com/footballers. That's Lowes.com/footballers.
Welcome to the Fantasy Footballers Podcast, coming to you from Draft.com Studios with your hosts, Andy Holloway, Jason Moore, and Mike Wright.
Welcome in. It's Friday, November 2nd, and the Fantasy Footballers are back, climbing into your ear holes.
Oh, slip inside.
Welcome in. Great show ahead. The rest of the fantasy forecast, some news, in or out, the daily dose. Jason Stubble's on the way back.
Oh, it is. It's rough. My children don't like it right now, and I say,
yeah, sandpaper smooches.
I say, deal with it. It's coming. I'm rubbing up on them, just like a cat.
Like a cat.
Don't cats do that? I don't like cats. I don't know what. Don't they like rub up on you?
Yeah, they're demons. They're trying to rub their satanic
they
spawn
are.
all over you.
Yes. Good for you, Mike.
50% of the population now offended.
Not sorry.
Are they really people?
So last night there was a football match.
Kind of.
And the 49ers won 34-3. And now I have some thoughts on the Raiders. and it's kind of fits in with Halloween because, look, I caught the kids trying to sneak some candy this morning from the buckets. You know, I have 3 children. And if I walk into a room and they all look up and they all got chocolate all over their faces.
Why you got all that chocolate in your face?
I don't know which one to blame, but they're all complicit, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
And I feel like when I walk into the room, the Raiders locker room, and you've got Gruden and Carr and the offensive line and the defensive coordinator, they all look up.
Yeah.
But they're not covered in chocolate.
You're covered in shame.
That's doo-doo, baby.
That is a bad team. Look, that is a poorly coached, very low effort team.
I disagree. I think Gruden knows exactly what he is doing.
Do you really?
Yes.
Or is that just something that we have to say because he's got 9.5 more years on the contract?
No, I think he knows exactly what he's doing for this year, which was trade away players, get draft picks, suck, get the #1 overall pick, and then send Derek Carr packing and get the guy he wants to be the quarterback.
Look, if you got a 10-year run and you don't believe in Carr.
But you can't publicly show or admit in any way that what you are doing is trying to lose on purpose. But when you lose to some quarterback that 99% of the population had never heard of,
third stringer
until Wednesday.
A quarterback that got verified on Twitter during the game.
Yeah, screw you, Mullins. You jerk.
Yours was a little longer than that.
Look,
you have not started for a professional franchise.
If I knew that's all it took, then I would have chosen a different life path. But to lose to that and make that quarterback, I don't know. Maybe Mullins is actually good. Who knows? But it's his first game ever, and your professional NFL defense got torched by him.
16 for 22, 262 and 3. Had a Footclan member message me today. Said he was 7-1 in his league, and he started Mullins to troll the rest of the league, and ended up with a nice day.
Take your shirt off and flex.
Yeah, pretty much. So, other takeaways from the game. Look, if you started anybody on Oakland, you were disappointed.
Yep.
Including Jared Cook, 2 for 20,
and
they turned the game off. It was like they conceded. At about 17-3, it was, we're going to keep the Doug Martin train rolling.
They did. They put A.J. McCarron in for basically the entire fourth quarter, which was a full concession. And Footclan, I know there's a lot of you that stream Derek Carr. So did I.
Yeah.
In my money league. On to next week.
Whoops.
Carr never started.
No.
No, the battery was dead.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate because last week,
No,
almost
he
40
was-
fantasy points.
Yeah, he was great. Yeah, honestly, after this game, from here on out, rest of season, I need to verify whether or not Oakland is at home or on the road, because I feel like
No, you just need to verify if you're ever trying to recommend Derek Carr.
okay,
That's
fair.
what you need to verify.
Sure, fair. But I don't think they would have rolled over and quit, just belly up, phoning in effort in front of their Raider fans as much as they would on the road is more my point. I just when you see a team really giving up, it's hard to give up as to the degree that they did last night in front of your own crowd.
Raheem Mostert, the Colonel, had a
wow.
great 52-yard touchdown run against that porous defense, 7 for 86 and a touchdown, and then broke his arm.
Yeah. There's sometimes when you see an injury happen, you go, oh, we're not too sure. If you saw it, you know exactly what happened. He's done.
Matt Breida disappointed for fantasy owners, 12 for 44, couple plays called back due to holds, and this game did not bend the right direction for him because, like you said, they put in McCarron for the fourth quarter, and San Francisco was running Morris out to end that game.
They said, oh, really? You gave up? Cool. Here's our second
team.
backups too.
Yeah. George Kittle, though. Oh, worth every Kittle.
Yeah, the Kittle spent on George was well worth it. $44 of fab early in the season, also known as a Kittle. Very, very worth it. He's making great catches. Everyone
that was
scared.
Such a great catch.
Everyone was scared when he went to the locker room, but he came back.
Yeah, I was scared. All right, it is Friday.
Footclan Friday.
Every Friday, we like to reward one of our official Footclan supporters from jointhefoot.com with a gift card, but more than a Kittle, it's $55 to shopballers.com. Scott Morita, congratulations, Scott. You are the winner this Footclan Friday. Thank you for supporting the show. If you want to win a signed Saquon Barkley jersey, head over to footclangiveaway.com. You
Mosey on over.
Mosey on over. Nice, Mike. Did you get that from Red Dead?
Maybe.
The voice gets a little bit deeper. Wait, did I just slip?
You went to
went
Dana
W.
Carvey.
Did I just slip into?
Yeah, you did Dana Carvey doing George Bush.
1,000 points of light. All right, Twitter. You can find us at the FF Ballers. We talked about the Thursday night game. Let's talk about some injuries. It's time for In and Out.
What's it gonna be, McFly? Are you in or out?
All right, with the 6 bye-week teams, there's a lot of decisions to be made, so injuries, they matter. Give you confidence on starting different players. Melvin Gordon, limited Wednesday and Thursday. Is he playing?
Yes.
I still believe he's not, but it's a good sign that he's been practicing in limited fashion.
Alex Collins suddenly didn't practice on Thursday, in or out.
Hate that downgrade. And there was an interesting write-up on Collins, too, talking about he actually has migraine problems as well, which is, they said, factors into the Ravens not just giving him a full force workload, but
whenever you get downgraded to completely out
on Thursday, it's
at the same time that you trade for another running back,
not good.
I'll say out.
Chris Carson added to the injury report on Thursday, getting in a limited practice.
I think he plays, though.
Okay. Sonny Michel, in or out?
Miraculously, I think he plays.
I think they give him one more week, but he's been practicing since last week, so he might be in.
Chris Thompson, Capri Bibbs, running backs for Washington.
Thompson, I'll say out. Bibbs will play, but he's not going to see the field.
That's how I lean as well.
Elijah McGuire with the foot. They're expected to activate him from injured reserve.
He won't be available for this week,
He will.
right?
He will.
Oh,
Yep.
I thought he had to have one more week.
Nope. He will be they anticipate him being activated ahead of the Sunday game, so
He'd be
he
eligible.
can play. I'm not excited about him. I know,
Not this
Mike,
week.
you mentioned it, but I'm
No, you keep-
For the future, I am.
I'm much more conservative about Elijah McGuire's, I guess, importance to fantasy football owners.
I think the issue that is forgotten, because whenever you've got a guy like this who, he was going early in the offseason, he was hyped up by the team, then he went on an injured reserve. Now he's coming back. You get excited because you've got a running back coming back, and then you have to remember that this is Elijah McGuire, and he's not that good.
I disagree. He's got juice.
When have we seen him have juice?
Last year.
I don't remember seeing. Every time I watched Elijah
Maybe a
McGuire,
juice
I was
box.
like, yeah.
Sure.
Oh, after the game. He's like, can I get an orange slice and a juice box? Oh, I do remember that. My bad.
Dalvin Cook, in or out?
Who knows? But I lean in.
No. They've got a bye week next week, right?
Yeah, so they do have the bye week, and they're just keeping him limited in the practices and getting him ready for 2 weeks?
Yes, that's my opinion.
Okay, I think that's it for the running back, in or out. Dalvin Cook, for good measure, said he feels great, but is unsure whether he's going to come back. He's been out for 4 games, but
yeah.
I can't imagine he's back. Tyreek Hill with the groin. I think he's in.
He was downgraded on Thursday, but I believe he'll play too.
Today's practice report on Tyreek Hill will matter a lot.
Yes, it will.
Stephon Diggs with the rib injury.
He says he's going to play, and
Absolutely.
I believe him.
Mike Evans, Cooper Kupp.
He was back. Evans will play.
Both will be in.
And Kupp is going to play too.
Allen Robinson.
No, he's going to be out.
Antonio Callaway.
Do we care?
Nope.
Oh, I'm so happy to hear you say that,
Big news
Mike.
this morning, though. Geronimo Allison and Randall Cobb, they've been limited. Allison is likely to miss. He had a re-injury of the groin this morning.
Not good.
Sunday night game against New England.
Marquez.
Yeah. Marquez,
you need
Valdez,
to pivot.
Scantling.
If you were counting on Allison, you need to pivot right now.
Mohamed Sanu.
Did not practice.
I think he's in. He's been dealing with the hip injury. Didn't practice a little bit last week either, and then he played in the game. But he's probably irrelevant.
But
maybe on bye weeks.
Upgrade for Ridley?
No, I mean, I think it's the same situation as last week. Same injuries.
And then we look at tight ends. David Njoku limited with a knee injury. In or out?
He will play. The big question of the week will be Rob Gronkowski, because he was not spotted at practice on Thursday. He's been dealing with his back injury and I believe an ankle injury as well. But you need to remember there's reports of there is a bug, a sickness going through the New England Patriots locker room. So some guys have been taking a day off with that. So you don't have to red alarm, panic for a Gronk, but you need to be ready to make a move as soon as you hear.
By the way, Kyle Shanahan said he is considering a switch to Nick Mullins permanently.
Yeah. Well, so, I mean, if I'm running that team, I would. I'd make the switch. If I was
Kyle Shanahan, I would actually look to make a switch of not my quarterback, but of my opponent, and keep playing the Raiders. I'd just say I'm looking into switching who I play this week.
That's not a bad idea.
No, I think.
And based on the Gruden strategy that Mike mentioned, he'd be all about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's just run this one back. Let's run this back about 7 more times.
We need to get the Raiders versus the Giants.
Oh gosh.
Let's see what happens.
0-0 ties.
Honestly, the Raiders-Cardinals are coming up soon, a couple weeks.
Oh, the Cardinals are Super Bowl champs compared to the Raiders right now. That's not true. They stink. All right, Sunday Live with Mike on Periscope, YouTube, Instagram, Twitch, wherever you're able to stream. Mike is there on Sunday morning. Now, this week, there's a bit of a time change, right?
No.
Only
there's
if you're
time
in
change
Arizona.
for us in Hawaii.
Is that how that works?
Yes, because the rest of the country does that stupid daylight savings
So
time
it's the
stuff.
same time for them?
Yes.
Is that really? That's
still 1 hour before main kickoff.
Yep.
Okay.
I mean, they have to move their clocks.
Oh, they moved the clocks.
But it will still start at the same time.
If you didn't know, Arizona doesn't mess around with any of this clock switching
Hey,
stuff.
we get one thing right.
We believe in the fidelity of the dial there.
Yeah, it's time. You must honor it. You can't just shift it willy-nilly back and forth when you feel like it.
Arizona. We did that right. All right, let's get back into the forecast.
Fantasy Forecast.
All right, if you missed a matchup or you don't hear one today, that means it was on yesterday's show. The Steelers, Ravens, Bears, Bills, Bucks, Panthers, Chiefs, Browns, Jets, Dolphins, Lions, Vikings, all on yesterday's show. Jason is smiling.
Yeah, I'm
Just
having a
living
good time.
life, having a good time.
I am very lucky to be here with you two gentlemen.
You are.
Yes. No, I know. I'm honored to be in your presence.
Thank
Mike.
you.
Don't forget Bengals, Cardinals, Colts, Eagles, Giants, Jags, all on bye. Don't play them. The 3-4 Falcons take on the 5-2 Redskins. Redskins are 1.5-point favorites. Yes, I said 5-2 Redskins. 47-point over-under in this game, and Mike made Alex Smith a desperation stream.
Start.
Yes. Yeah, well, he was in the start, but he was called the desperate stream of the week.
Okay, all right.
I should have gone with Alex Smith over Derek Carr, you bum.
You should have
he
listened
killed
to
me.
yourself.
Yeah.
Which one of you guys had the streaming car, the car stream, the stream car?
I
car stream?
I put the car in the stream and sailed it down the river. Yeah, my stream of the week. Yeah.
Alex
Apparently.
Smith, Adrian Peterson and company. Who can you count on in the Washington side?
Adrian Peterson.
Yeah.
Can Chris Thompson be a top 24 play this week if he plays?
No.
If he plays, I think he can. The matchup is perfect. I was actually going to bring up Capri Bibbs.
I guess it's a good point of the pass catching.
Yeah,
of
the pass
Falcons.
catching running back against the Falcons has been just an excellent play so far this year with the way that their defense is banged up. And I don't anticipate Chris Thompson's going to play. If he does, I would start him. If he doesn't play and Capri Bibbs is in, which I believe is the same situation. Well, last week Chris Thompson left the game, right? But Bibbs didn't do anything at all.
Right.
He was zero. Yeah,
Zero.
zero fantasy points.
But we talked yesterday, the break the glass situation of Jaquiz Rodgers. If you are in the situation where I got bye weeks, I literally have nobody. I have to get someone off of waiver wire who is going to put up like 5 points. Quiz will be involved. Would you rather use someone like Capri Bibbs who has the chance in this matchup if they're down against the Falcons?
I'm a big no because he's also got a shoulder injury.
Yeah,
and he goosed last week.
That's exactly where I go. Because of the separated shoulder, I would lean with Quiz.
Adrian Peterson, 10th in the league in opportunities per game, at least 26 in back-to-back games, third in yards after contact behind Gurley and Hunt. Somehow still doing it. What about Jordan Reed? He's the tight end 13 on the year. He's averaging just 4 catches per game. Everything about what's happened to the Redskins offense with the amount of injuries to the wide receivers has told us that we should expect more from Jordan Reed. But the big names, both Gronkowski and Reed, have underwhelmed immensely this year. The Falcons are giving up the third most passing yards per game. Does Jordan Reed have upside?
Yes. He has upside because I believe that the Falcons' defense is so atrocious. And, I mean, if you haven't been paying attention to Washington, like Andy said, they're 5-2. They're actually a good team. I mean, they're not fun by what we consider fun for NFL standards, but they're getting it done. And I think that Washington's going to allow a few more points than they have been to the Atlanta Falcons, so they will be forced to score a bit more. And Jordan Reed has an opportunity, but it's going to be touchdowns.
So right now the Redskins defense, they've been pretty good.
Yes.
And they are at home. And the Falcons, while they've put up a ton of points this year, look, the Redskins added Clinton Dix. They have a nice secondary. What are your expectations for the Falcons' offense in this one?
My expectations are definitely lower. I think they're missing Devonta Freeman. They have some good secondary pieces here. I don't love – I mean, look, obviously you're playing Julio. I don't want to take the gamble this week on Ridley, Sanu. They're both banged up. This doesn't look to me like the Redskins are going to be able to just score on the Falcons as readily, as easily as everyone else has done. Maybe I'm wrong there. That's what it would take for Ridley and Sanu to be more valuable. But for the most part, I'm not – usually the Falcons game is like you're going back for dessert. I get a second helping. I want all the players. I'll reach as low as I can go. But for the most part, it's like Tevin Coleman, Julio Jones. You can obviously still start Matt Ryan if you need to. But the ancillary pieces, I'm not excited about Ito Smith.
Austin Hooper.
Austin Hooper, Ridley.
Tevin Coleman's our RB22 this week, right at the tail end of RB2. Since the Week 4 bye, Washington is allowing the third fewest rushing yards per game, and if he's splitting some time with Ito, he's going to have to pop one. He's going to have to hit one.
Yeah, his ceiling is limited.
All right, the 5-3 Texans take on the 3-5 Broncos. Demaryius Thomas changes jerseys in this one. It's still weird for me to look at.
Do you think he's going to end up in the wrong locker room?
Dude, I just want him to one time during the game run to the wrong sideline. Just once. Because how do you get that muscle
whole career?
That muscle memory has got to be there from.
Or when Sanders comes down with a deep ball, he's like, "Yeah, I mean,
pats him
no!
on the butt." Oh, why? How do you change loyalties like that, especially when you're at home in your old building?
I don't know.
All right, we'll get into the matchup. Before we do, I want to remind you about SeatGeek. We want to thank SeatGeek for sponsoring the show today. And look, when we talk about SeatGeek, it's not complicated. What is complicated is getting tickets online from a bunch of other providers. What SeatGeek does is they take those hundreds of different sites and they give you a trustworthy place to go and get your tickets. That's why we go to SeatGeek. That's why we've been using SeatGeek for years. And look, they search them all. They grade them all. They help you identify the best seat that fits within your budget. Everything's fully guaranteed. And it works for the last-minute date. Look, you want to figure something out. Date night, go see a concert, go see a game last minute. SeatGeek's the place to go. I love it. Best of all, our listeners get $20 off their first SeatGeek purchase. Download the SeatGeek app and enter the promo code Footballers today. That's promo code Footballers for $20 off your first SeatGeek purchase. SeatGeek, life is an event. We have the tickets.
Want to thank Pristine Auction for sponsoring today's show. Pristine Auction, the best sports memorabilia website of all time in humanity of the known universe. This is where
you just mixed like 3 descriptors together.
Because it's big time.
Okay.
Over at Pristine Auction.
Big time.
Big time. This is where we're always going to get our signed jerseys. We got Super Camario up on the wall today. The hands of Camara touched this jersey, and then he wrote his name on it. And it's really cool that it's up on our wall, and we're getting them for lower prices than you can fathom.
For Halloween, Andy needed an Andy Dalton jersey, and it was cheaper to buy a signed one.
Yeah, so we have an Andy Dalton jersey.
Which we're going to give away, by the way.
Oh.
We're going to give
Are
away.
you signing it?
I'm going to sign it next to Andy Dalton, and we're giving it away.
Very, very nice. But you got to check it out. Deals, hundreds of new things up there every single day. So you got to be checking it every morning, see what's going on there. Pristine Auction, Pristine auction.com. You make that completely free account. And when you do it, you let them know that the Fantasy Footballers sent you.
Do you know how many games in a row Lamar Miller had without 100 rushing yards?
I think it was 26.
You hit it. 26 straight games without it.
We talked about it on the DFS show.
Well, that makes it easier to
I was
know that
very
number.
impressed.
And then Miller has 100-plus in 2 straight games. Denver does not know how to play defense against running backs, giving up 5.1 yards per attempt, second most in the league. Is this another great Lamar Miller start?
Yeah, absolutely. Lamar Miller is solid. I think a little bit too much is being made with the absence of Will Fuller.
I do not.
I guess that's the discussion to be had because right when Will Fuller went down, it was catastrophe in my mind to the Houston Texans offense, what he allows them to open up. And seemingly, Mike, you still are on that side. That it's going to affect this offense in big ways. I have reversed ship. I think Deshaun Watson is going to be just fine. With Demaryius Thomas, with DeAndre Hopkins, Lamar Miller coming into his own, the offense and the defense clicking on a win streak, I think they're going to be just fine. I'm not worried about the Houston Texans offense.
Look, adding Demaryius Thomas to the offense helps, and Will Fuller has been anything but the pinnacle of help. So Deshaun Watson has had to play without him before.
And it's been rough, though.
It hurts the big play. It hurts the big play, but Demaryius Thomas, what kind of impact can he make on this team? Because, look, he was the wide receiver 42 before the trade. This is why when the trade happened, I don't think that having some excitement for him is a bad thing. A lot of the times changing teams is not great. But when you're the wide receiver 42 and had high expectations, it changes things a little bit for me.
Yeah, his touchdown upside goes up compared to what he was dealing with in Denver. But I still expect him to be around that wide receiver 3, especially this week. If you're playing Thomas this particular week, I think you are in a desperate mode.
Yeah, I agree completely. I did, just to speak to the concerns you have on having lost Fuller.
Oh, I think we did the same thing.
Realizing that there have been 4 games where he hasn't played with Fuller as a right. He's lost him in games, but in those 4 games, the difference in Deshaun Watson, he goes from 30 PPR points a game in the 11 games with them to 17.
Yeah, it's a big drop because a lot of Watson's points are scramble, scramble. Oh, Will Fuller is wide open because he's faster than everyone on the field.
We don't expect Royce Freeman to play. I don't think we brought him up on in or out, but he's missed practice this week. Is Phillip Lindsay an RB1 in this matchup against the Texans defense? He had a season-high 21 touches last week and a very nice game for fantasy owners.
Fringe.
Yeah, he's a solid play because of opportunity, but the Texans' defensive line is very good. Overall, they haven't shut down the running backs from a fantasy output stand, but you still have to keep in mind, like, the human beings that are on that line are very talented.
Houston's only allowed 1 running back, and that was Saquon Barkley, to have 100-plus scrimmage yards. So Lindsey, you're going to play him, but just saying you don't think you have a top 10 guy, in my opinion.
Okay. All right. Right now, by the way, Deshaun Watson is our quarterback 11 on our consensus rankings, so we're tempering some expectations up in Denver. I still think the Denver defense is interesting in this matchup, but look, I can see getting burned by it too.
Right.
Right now, by the way, you can go to the website, thefantasyfootballers.com. You can use the start-sit tool and see how things break down. We update those rankings every single day. Now, Cortland Sutton is the last name I want to bring up because this is his opportunity. The team, they said it both in action with the trade of Demaryius Thomas, and they said it in words, saying, look, we think he's ready to be the guy, to be out there more often. 50 yards or a touchdown in 5 straight games, and that was with Demaryius Thomas. Cortland Sutton rest of the season is what? A wide receiver?
A wide receiver 2.
Yeah, I got him in that lower wide receiver 2.
Yeah,
season.
I really like Sutton. I'm sad that his first matchup is this one because it's not a great matchup for Sutton. Houston Texans defense, their secondary, everything's clicking right now for the Texans. They're top 10 against the wide receiver fantasy points given up. So I don't see him as having a great game, but I'd still be willing to play him. This week, I see him more as a wide receiver 3, though.
Yeah, hopefully he's your flex this week.
All right, the 5-2 Chargers travel to Seattle to take on the 4-3 Seahawks. Seahawks they're staying around. They're hanging around. This running offense, this Brian Schottenheimer-led offense is working. 48-point over-under. Obviously, the Chargers playing well. We talked about Melvin Gordon's availability. Austin Eckler, he's been very good this season in limited work, playing with Gordon. Is he a flex-worthy player this week?
Yeah, he's had enough games while Gordon's been on the field where he's been fantasy relevant to be willing to start him, especially considering that Gordon might not be on the field, and if he is on the field, still could be in a limited fashion or, unfortunately, we don't want to think of it, re-aggravate the hamstring issue. So if Gordon plays in his full capacity, Eckler's okay. You can still get a good start. Everything else is upside there. So yeah, I think you're fine starting Eckler.
Quick update on a previous matchup. Alex Collins did return to practice today.
So he should be good to go then.
Yeah, he should be good to go. Now, look, Russell Wilson, Jason, you have him as a start of the week. You feel confident with him at home in this matchup. On the other side of the ball, though, Phillip Rivers, he's been great, throwing for multiple touchdowns in every single game this year. But, Jason, you have him at quarterback 13 this week, and Seattle is #1 in the league in terms of fantasy points allowed to the quarterback position. And I feel like last week you brought up the fact they've played some bad quarterbacks.
Yeah.
But
they have not been tested very strongly.
So then what do you believe here in this something's got to give category with Phillip Rivers in that defense?
I believe the truth is in the middle. I don't think Seattle is a bad defense. They're a very fine
like
defense.
An Oreo. The truth is in the middle.
That's what I just named my horse in Red Dead.
Did you?
You named him Oreo?
Yeah, it was a black and white horse. Named her Oreo.
Oh, it's a her?
Yeah. Anyways, getting back here. Yeah, I think Seattle's a good defense, but they're not the #1 scariest defense as they are currently ranked against quarterbacks, because if you go and you look at the specific quarterbacks they've played, it's been trash. Phillip Rivers will be able to move the ball here. You know, I've turned around kind of thinking that the 48-point kind of surprised me as a high line from Vegas. I was leaning towards the under, but the more I've looked into this matchup, I think both teams will be able to score and move the ball. And, you know, if Chris Carson ends up a little bit banged up, obviously we talked about him in the in or out, having been a late addition to the injury report. That could bode well for, you know, the game airing it out back and forth a little bit more.
27 touches last week for Chris Carson, so you want to monitor that injury situation. When he plays well. What do we think about let's go with the Williams. Mike, Tyrell.
Sure.
And let's talk about Keenan Allen too, Mike. Are we expecting a better second half from Keenan Allen? Because, right, like how far do you take your expectations with him?
Yes, I am expecting a better second half for Keenan Allen, but because it's on the back of touchdowns. I mean, the amount of targets, the amount of receptions that he has received already this year. I mean, he's got 41 receptions for over 500 yards, but only one touchdown. I think that's something that is just the luck of the draw, and then positive touchdown regression will be coming for Keenan Allen, which it's I mean, he's being impacted by Tyrell Williams, who keeps getting these long bombs. I mean,
Keenan Allen or Jarvis Landry against the Chiefs?
Ooh, that's a great question.
I'm waiting for Mike to answer because you clearly were asking Mike.
Oh, I would take.
I know you said Callaway didn't matter himself. He didn't practice today either.
Right.
He's trending toward not playing.
Yeah, well, Jarvis is already getting targets. I don't know if he can handle any more, even if Callaway misses. I'll take. Yeah, man, I'll take Jarvis.
I'm gonna stay with Keenan Allen.
Cool.
Would you start either of the Lions wideouts over Keenan Allen, Marvin Jones or Kenny Golladay?
No, I mean they're close to me. I've got them both behind Keenan and Jarvis right now. They're in the low teens. I've got Jarvis at 15 and Keenan at 12.
Doug Baldwin, Tyler Lockett, David Moore. Put those in order.
Man,
give me the names again.
It's
It's the
Seahawks.
three wideouts for Seattle.
Yeah, I know.
Doug Baldwin, Tyler Lockett, David Moore.
It was called stalling.
Okay.
You just put them in the order that I would start them in.
You would still start Baldwin over Tyler Lockett? I don't think that's been a good decision for a fantasy owner any week this year. Not even one time.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's because Baldwin hasn't done much of anything this whole year. I still believe Baldwin will get it going. I mean, 2 weeks ago he was just fine. His snap percentage has been fine. I mean, if you look at what's happened in specifics in some of these games, like this last week against the Lions, they ran the ball all over him, jumped out to an early lead on a couple of bomb touchdowns. And not to say that can't happen
Lockett
again.
was fine. Moore was fine.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, you know, you throw a bomb touchdown, the drive is over.
Lockett's catching a touchdown
Every week.
on every 1 out of 4 receptions. For
Seriously?
Tyler Lockett is a touchdown right now.
Doug Baldwin's
ridiculous.
4 games since returning, 5 for 41, 1 for 1, 6 for 91, 2 for 26. I am out on him.
Yeah?
I think he's a wide receiver 3 rest of the season.
Okay. Don't blame you.
If you had to roster one, are you sticking with that order, Jason?
Yes.
Mike?
Yeah, I would.
Ed Dixon? He plays for Seattle. Is
And
he your
plays well.
boom boom tight end of
He's
the
my,
week?
yes, if I get a boom boom tight end of the week, that's Ed Dixon. Rest of the season.
The 8-0 Rams take on the 6-1 Saints. This is a 59.5
Let's go.
over under, and it's going to be a wild one. This is the best look. If you're a fantasy owner of Todd Gurley, Jared Goff, Brandon Cooks, Robert Woods,
Cooper Kupp.
yeah, the list goes on for the Rams. You want the Saints to win this game. You want it to be high-flying and exciting so you get your points, but you want New Orleans to win this game because you want there to be another horse in the race for that top seed in the NFC. If the Rams go to 9-0, they put some space between themselves and the Saints, you start to worry a little bit about them getting benched in Week 16, or at least playing part of the game in Week 16. So I'm a big Saints fan in this one as a fantasy owner. So right now, is this – by the way, this is the highest point total of the year. Are we watching the title game preview?
Wasn't it someone was saying this is the highest point total since 2004?
Yep. Raiders, Chiefs in 2004. That was a Trent Green, Kerry Collins matchup.
Of course it was.
So, so we expect there to be some scoring in this one, no doubt about it. Drew Brees at home this year, a modest 83.5% completion percentage.
Yes,
and 350 yards a game. Start your Drew Brees.
Drew Brees better at home, and the offense has not been tested as of recent, and they will be. They're going to have a tall task. They have to keep up with the Rams. So Drew Brees is a fine play.
You're obviously starting Alvin Kamara, but I think there are discussions to be had about Mark Ingram and his value rest of the season. One of the things we've seen the last 2 weeks is in the red zone, inside that 10 zone, Alvin Kamara has been on the field frequently, not just to catch the ball, but to run the ball. No red zone looks for Ingram last week. How are you feeling about Mark Ingram and when you start him, when you sit him?
Not great. Not great, Bob. Because the problem when you held on to Mark Ingram, obviously week 1 felt amazing when you had him, but if he loses the touchdown upside, and Kamara has been getting the bulk of the work when they're near the goal line, that's incredibly destructive for what you thought you were going to get with Mark Ingram. The reason that they both could be running back 1 and running back 2 and keep balance to the force was because Ingram would get so many opportunities to score, and those have evaporated.
Yeah,
so I mean,
but he's still been he's probably a 10-point guy at his baseline. I was going to say
game. I have no concerns with Mark Ingram. I think
overall or just this
overall.
week?
I mean, this week great. I mean, there's no player that you're not excited to start in this game. You want all the pieces you can handle from this game. But rest of season, I still am 100% fine with Mark Ingram. I think the touchdown opportunities will still be there. Maybe they're a little less than previous, but he's still been getting teens of touches every game.
Teens of touches?
Teens of touches.
I like that.
He's still involved in the receiving game, multiple receptions each game. I have no worries about Mark Ingram.
Look, I know that in one of our leagues, we're already through our trade deadline. The majority of leagues are not. Majority of people are deciding, do I want Adrian Peterson or Mark Ingram on my roster rest of the season?
Yeah, that's
what decision do they make? What about Kerryon Johnson or Mark Ingram?
Those are great questions. I would prefer Mark Ingram because I want the offense. I don't believe that
Adrian Peterson is the offense.
That is true. That is absolutely true. And I just gave Adrian Peterson on the Halloween show a lot of credit. I think he's going to be a good player, but there are still concerns. I mean, you would prefer your player to be 23 instead of 32, always. I guess maybe not a quarterback. Other than that, always. So,
well, yeah, the quantity of touches for Peterson could lead to injury.
Exactly. He could break down. So I think of those 3 that you named, I would still take Mark Ingram over Kerryon and over AP.
I want to take a moment to let people know why we don't talk at length about Todd Gurley in this area.
We need to do that?
Well, we do, because somebody said, look, you haven't talked about Christian McCaffrey in a couple weeks in your matchups, and is that because he's an auto start?
Boring.
Well, and look, if you have Todd Gurley, I know how greedy you are. You just want all the airtime. You want the points and the airtime.
Yeah.
But the thing, if we don't,
I don't blame you.
You're the people who were complaining when he took the knee because your 35 fantasy points wasn't enough.
That was me as well. Now, if we don't mention a guy in a matchup, look, there is the occasional oversight. I'm trying to hit the main talking points, storylines. But most of the time that means that decision is so apparent that you can make it without discussion, without debating a side. You're not benching Gurley, Woods, Cooks. Now, Kupp, if he's back, are you just starting him because the matchup's so delicious?
Kupp will score a touchdown this week.
Yeah, Kupp should be a top 10 wide receiver.
What about Traquan Smith? You know you're starting Michael Thomas, but Traquan Smith is the other big flex decision for fantasy owners before we move on from this matchup.
Yeah.
Still playing him. He's running. He's getting the snaps, running nearly as many routes as Michael Thomas. Like I said, Drew Brees and the passing offense has simply been capped the past couple weeks, and they need them. So I think that Traquan's a fine play.
All right, I'm just as excited for the Sunday night football game between the Packers and Patriots as I was for that matchup. The 3-3-1 Packers take on the 6-2 Pats.
So is Jordan.
Michael Jordan?
Yeah, he's very excited.
Yeah. Patriots are 5.5-point favorites. This is a 56.5-point over-under. So we're expecting points. Now, we just heard the Geronimo Allison news. Injured his groin at practice. Already has a hamstring injury. I'm not expecting him out there. So you're looking at a wide receiver core led by Devontae Adams, of course, and then with the mix and match of Marquez Valdez-Scantling, Randall Cobb,
Jimmy Graham,
and look, 3 straight weeks for Marquez in double digits. Are we expecting a wide receiver 2 week from him?
Yes.
Would you start him, or would you start, I don't know, Devontae Parker after last week?
I would rather start Marquez. If Geronimo is
that
out,
way too.
I would rather start Marquez. I would also rather start Traquan Smith. Those two. This last waiver wire show, I said this is like the week of the rookie wide receiver. DJ Moore, Traquan Smith, and Marquez Valdez-Scantling. I think they're all going to be very good plays.
That's good because I just picked him up.
Selfish.
Hey, is it Aaron Jones' time?
Yes.
Aaron Jones last week dominated the carries.
Yes.
He's our consensus RB20.
What is Jason bringing him down?
Well, I have the mental picture of, like, you know, he's ready to take off for the race, right? Like he's in an Olympic race, but he's got this guy who's lassoed him and is holding on for dear life to not let him run. And I feel like Jason's the one that doesn't want to let go of the rope.
Right now, Jason is full and the pen is blue. He has Jim Carrey in Liar Liar, and after this weekend, he will have the pen is red written all over his body.
Well,
I hope so.
The funny thing is like, I don't blame Jason for the delay. Like, it's appropriate because it's actually been the measured response to this. Like, we all know Aaron Jones is good, but if he doesn't
throw measurements out the window,
it doesn't matter how
time
good.
To be free.
Well, look, here's the super stat that our research team put in for us on this one. By the way, Aaron Jones, 61% of the snaps last week. Here's the super stat that was written in. Good research. Jamal Williams is a Jag. He's no good. And if you don't know what that means, it's just a guy. Jag.
Yeah, that was some deep level stuff there.
Yeah, and
really,
unfortunately, it's very true. However, just because you're a Jag for fantasy owners does not mean you're not on the field.
If the coach loves you.
If the Patriots get out to a big lead, as they may do with the line like this, and Aaron Rodgers is throwing the ball, there are going to be a number of pass protection snaps for Jamal Williams. Now, that does not make him viable.
They were also down in the game against the Rams, and it was still Aaron Jones.
It was both of them.
It was both, because here's what the Packers do, and this is why I've been hesitant to get on Aaron Jones on the train full bore. I like him like he's the best player on that team, but I'm telling you right now, they're both going –
25% of the snaps for Jamal Williams.
What the Packers do is they give different drives to different running backs. That's usually what they've been doing the last like 2-3 years. So
yeah, but the 25% just disproves.
Yeah, well, but Ty Montgomery was there. I mean, I'm saying both of these guys. What was Ty Montgomery's?
Yeah, but it was 61% and 25%. So there ain't much left that Ty Montgomery would have had.
Well, that's
Packers 86% of the snaps.
Ty Montgomery
but you can have more than one running back on the field.
Jason, 11.5.
Yeah. So anyway,
it's Aaron Jones time, man. Let's go.
I hope so.
Jimmy Graham, New England's allowed the most touchdowns to the tight end position. That's what you need from Jimmy right now. You need the touchdown. We know we're starting Brady. We know we're starting Rodgers. We know we're starting Adams. I love Julian Edelman this week. He's my start of the week. What do we have with Josh Gordon? Is it fair for fantasy owners to expect his wide receiver 2 range projections to change over the course of the rest of the season, or is this where he should be?
It's where he should be. We've seen Brady. He's taken the shots, going deep. They just haven't come through since the where Josh Gordon had that beast touchdown catch in double coverage 2 weeks ago, and this past week where he had a step on White and they just missed the connection for a really big play. So I believe that the big plays are coming. Josh Gordon, all that hullabaloo about him being punished for being tardy and he was going to miss some time, that went in the dumpster. It's
now.
It is the Patriots, so maybe they just delayed the punishment. They do weird stuff up in New England. But Josh Gordon is still a low-end wide receiver 2 with monster upside every single week.
Before we talk Monday Night Football, what do you expect from the backfield in New England? Is Sonny Michel going to be on a pitch count if he's active? Like, do you start him no matter what, or are you weighing other options?
Not me. If Sony plays, I will play him.
What if you had Sony and Philip Lindsay to decide between?
I would go Philip Lindsay.
Because I would start Lindsay over Michelle regardless this week.
Okay. All right, on Monday Night Football, the 3-4 Titans take on the 3-4 Cowboys. Cowboys are 6-point favorites.
Wow.
Oh.
Andy's almost upset of the week.
Is that the Amari Cooper bump to the Vegas line? My goodness.
The storyline for this game for me is how sad Monday Night Football is that they don't have the ability to flex games in.
Oh,
like Sunday night did with this matchup we get. I mean, it wasn't flexed, but like they can't pivot out of Titans Cowboys.
well, yeah, 41-point over-under. Right? You wish they could. I don't see the Cowboys. They might win the game.
They're not winning by 7.
I don't think they're winning by 7 points.
I don't think so either.
And look, the Titans' defense has been pretty good this year. I'm the lowest on Zeke this week. I actually have him RB7, despite averaging 22 touches per game. I think it's just the low scoring aspect of this game. It's not going to be something that's I don't think it's going to be high flying. I would say that the game ends around the 40-point mark between the two teams. So what are we expecting here? Who do you have confidence in starting? These are two teams that have been very difficult to talk about for fantasy owners all season long because outside of Zeke, I mean, there's question marks.
That's the end of the list.
That's it. That's all you can count on.
You're not ready for Cooper time?
No, I'm not. I would rather start Traquan Smith or Marquez Valdez-Scantling over Amari Cooper in this matchup. That's not to say you can't start Cooper, but I think you probably shouldn't. I mean, we don't know how involved he is, how up to speed he is on everything. He came in a great time for their bye week, gets basically an extra week of practice, but, you know, I'm not excited there. There are pieces you can start, but outside of Zeke, I mean, you can start Derrick Henry or Dion Lewis, but the matchup, it's not great. Their defense has been pretty legit this year.
The matchup wasn't great the past time we saw the Titans, and Dion Lewis finally got it going.
That is true, and so did Derrick Henry. I mean, you can start them. I'm just not excited to start anyone. Nobody in this game is a must-start other than Zeke.
Yeah, and with Zeke, my tempered expectations also are born out of the lack of Zach Martin, their offensive guard. We do have a practice report that he will be involved in some individual drills. They're going to evaluate him and see where that goes. So his, activity, that's going to matter. Amari Cooper makes his debut. He's our consensus wide receiver 37, and that's all there is to it.
Yep.
Corey Davis, is he rosterable?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Wide receiver 45 or worse in every game except one.
You're going to keep holding?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's rosterable. I'm not, again, I don't think he's a guy that you need to start, but, yeah, he's rosterable. He is the clear-cut wide receiver 1 for an NFL franchise, and if their offense starts clicking and gets it together, then I want that on my team.
Sure, it's a big if, but, I mean, guys like Valdez-Scantling and
I dropped Corey Davis 2 weeks ago, and I have no regrets.
Yeah, and someone picked him up, and they're just like, yeah, cool. Corey Davis is on my team.
And it's really unfortunate because when you say clear-cut number 1, I'm not even sure. It's like a team that doesn't have a 1 because they don't target anybody at an immense – I mean, look, Tajay Sharp led the team by a lot last game, and that was random. So
and Corey Davis should – he won't be –
I'm just disappointed.
He will not be shadowed because Dallas doesn't do that, but – Corey Davis should see plenty of Byron Jones, Dallas Cowboys cornerback.
He's been great.
Yeah, if you're trying to play Corey Davis, you should not be excited by that news.
Also, Mohamed Sanu returned to practice today. Is there anything else you want to touch on from that Monday night game?
Please, no.
Yeah, we won't make you do that anymore.
The Daily Dose, brought to you by Draft.
Every Friday, we jump into the Daily Dose. We do a one-on-one draft right here, live on the show. I won last week, Jason?
You did.
Thank you.
You beat me by a couple points. Mike.
Feels great.
On to next week, man. Just like streaming Derek Carr. Look, you're a little beat up. Sometimes the peach has a bruise on it.
Oh, gosh.
And
You've been bruised in this matchup all year long.
Sometimes all your fruit has bruises on it, and you got to push through.
Need a whole new crate of fruit. What are we doing this week?
We're sticking with the quarterback draft. It's fun. There's really not many other chances you get to have your pick of just going with one position. So I really like to go with the quarterbacks on this one.
All right, Jason's got the first pick in this draft. We'll kick it off here. 5 players per team. Quarterback draft. Make the wrong pick, Jay.
Look, I'm going to need a drop here.
Yeah.
Because
Are
I'm
you
scooting.
going scooting?
I'm scooting all over with the number 1 pick.
Oh, that's what I would have done as well with the number 1 pick. So my consolation prize is Patrick Mahomes.
It's a pretty good consolation prize. My apologies, Andy, for having the 3rd pick.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Sunday night matchup. I'm going to take Brady and Rodgers.
Oh, I'm jealous.
Yeah. that was a good move.
I was mocking you for your consolation prize, but
I would have taken Mahomes first, so
Great.
for what that's worth. But Mike is back on the clock.
Yeah,
Jason with a couple picks following him.
I got the decision between Drew Brees in that monster matchup or things that are magical. But I'm going to stick with Drew Brees.
Well, since you went Drew Brees, I know you were debating about him or Fitzmagic. I'm not going that route. I'm actually going to take a couple guys a little bit lower in the consensus list that I like in Kirk Cousins and Jared Goff. Jared Goff.
Mike, you get your chance at Fitzmagic.
Yeah,
Fitzmagic on the way back.
I threw the name out because I was trying to throw Jason off of the scent because I'm taking his start of the week, Russell Wilson.
Yeah, I'm staring down names that I love, like Big Ben, Matt Ryan, Deshaun Watson, but matchups I don't love, Baltimore, Washington, Denver. Man, I'm actually going to pivot. I'm going to surprise you. I'm going to take Matthew Stafford.
Wow. Against Minnesota.
And I'm going to take Matt Ryan. I'm going to go back-to-back there.
Yeah, I like the Matt Ryan pick there.
There's a guy I'm hoping I know he'll get to me now.
Will he?
Yeah, because it's only you, and you don't want him.
No, that's very true. So I'm going to take the Magic Man, Ryan
I'm surprised you
Fitzpatrick.
didn't take Alex Smith there, Mike.
Ryan Fitzpatrick's higher in my rankings, and he doesn't have magic.
No magic. I didn't think about the
Like I said, desperation stream for me. And if Ryan Fitzpatrick was on the waiver wire,
I wish Mullins was here, man. That would be great. Jason looks
did
like he
someone
went
take
with
Matt Ryan?
yes. Where have you been?
I missed that. I'm sitting here
when
looking
Andy
for
was
him.
like, "Oh, I'm going to take Matt Ryan."
Yeah, that was when I took him.
Yeah, that's a good time.
You went Watson and Rivers.
I did. Deshaun Watson was the guy that I was hoping got back to me. Did get back to me. Rivers was much more of a tilt pick.
And now I will take that giant scoop of vanilla ice cream in Alex Smith.
Delicious.
Who'd you finish out the draft with?
All
Andy?
right, I started with the first pick, have Cam Newton, Jared Goff, Kirk Cousins, Deshaun Watson, and Phillip Rivers.
I got Patrick Mahomes, Breeze, Russell Wilson, Fitzmagic, and Alex Smith.
Brady, Rodgers, Stafford, Ryan, Roethlisberger. We'll see how this turns out. The only thing I know each and every week is that Mike will finish last.
Yeah, that's
really
pretty
the only.
confident. So
there are only a few things: death, taxes, and that. That's it. That's all there are.
that's all you need to know.
Well, we'll be back on
I can't
Monday.
argue. It's not been a good showing
He's got
for me
nothing
lately.
to say. Don't forget, we'll be back Monday. Mike will be on the live stream Sunday
be there.
morning. If you keep your eyes out on YouTube. On Saturday, we're gonna share a studio tour. Everything that goes on here, where we work, where we watch games, where we record the show. So you can check that out. And if you're on jointhefoot.com, we just posted that tour yesterday, so you get some early access there. Check it out at jointhefoot.com. We appreciate each and every one of you that has supported this show. Many of you from the beginning 3 years ago. We love what we do. We work hard at it. And I'm very excited for this upcoming week, and we wish you luck. We hope you dominate.
And don't forget, it's a day of the week, so go to footclanvote.com. Vote for yours truly in the sports category.
That's true.
And we'll see you on Sunday because you'll be on the live stream with me. Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Fantasy Footballers Podcast. Join our fantasy football community on jointhefoot.com and follow us on Twitter @TheFFBallers.